1 Kings 18:41. Say amen when you're there, church. And Elisha said unto Ahab, Get up, eat, drink, for there is a sound of abundance of rain.
Hallelujah.
Church, I'm going to stop right there. When I came into the building, my father said something. The church has been going through something, and now is the time where we're coming out of that something. My father said that there's a spirit of revival in the church. I didn't talk to my father. I didn't talk to Pastor Buddha. But I tell you what I talked to. I talked to God today, and God told me that there's abundance of rain in Hollywood, Florida, and revival is going to break forth in this city. You got to understand what is going on. Israel, what's going on and what's happening here? Israel's in the state church where they fell away from God. King David died. Solomon died. And they're in a dry place, church. And what happened is they turned away from God and they started making other gods. And because out of their rebellion, they'll suddenly drought. And what is a drought? And Rocky there's no way to grow the animals to get bigger. It's in a bad place. Israel was once in a great place with King David. They defeated the Philistines, Rocky. They did so many great things. They built up their household and they were giants, Rocky. They built up their empire. But what happened here? David died. Solomon built a temple and they were at war and Solomon died. And now Abram took over reign over Israel. And they fell away from the true God. What happened is they started to believe in the God of Baal. And so says Baal, says Bach. And they turned away, Rocky, from the true God. And what is happening? Israel was in a bad state. How long, church? Us as the children of God, we've been in a bad state.
Hallelujah.
How long, church? We've been in a dry place.
Hallelujah.
How long, church? We've been in a place where bad things has been happening to us. How long, church, has it been when we have really got a hold of the Holy Ghost power in our life? That's what I'm talking about tonight, church. I'm talking about a drought. Israel, church, was at a place that nothing was going right for them, Rocky. There was no more food, Rocky. There was a famine. There was no more animals, Rocky, to toss. And it was in a bad place. Us as church, we've been going through some bad things. Financially, not even away. Spiritually, we stopped praying. We stopped fasting. We stopped hearing the voice of God. We're not where we need to be in God. How long, church, has it been since we really got a hold of the Holy Ghost power, church? And I'm talking about a drought tonight, church. Because Israel, church, was in a drought. I want you to go back and think. When Israel was at its top, they said, Psalm Back in 1702, they went undefeated. It was the Miami Dolphins, one of the greatest teams that they ever was been. But now they fell away from their greatness. I'm talking about tonight, church. Israel fell away from their greatness. And the point is that all the priests were all killed because there was someone called Jezebel, and she cut off all the heads of the priests. Israel was in a bad, bad place. But guess what? There was one prophet left. And the name of that prophet was called Elisha.
Come on.
And God spoke to Elisha and told him, I hear a sound of abundance of rain, and some things is about to change. For the children of Israel. He says, I know for sure that things don't make. I'm trying to stop, but I feel the whole I'm here to tell you tonight, we have been in a drought. We have been in a place where we have not been at our greatest. But I'm telling you tonight, God is about to take us where we are at. And we are about to get to a whole other level in God. If there was problems that you had that's been struggling with your finances, if there was problems, Garcia, that's what he was. If there's problems, Garcia, yet Garcia's stubborn and they don't want to come to church. Guess what? Revival is on its way. Israel fell away, but there was one still prophet that still worshiped the true God. There was people that was still living for Him. Most of Israel has